When the Rumford Company moved to Indiana in 1966, they took many of their artifacts. When they read in 2006, many, many years later, that under Nancy's leadership, they had received the national recognition as a chemical historic site, they offered to give us many of the artifacts for our collection. Well, Nancy, in her highly energetic style, decided she would drive all the way across country in her van, collect all of these artifacts, drive them back, and she was president of the Historical Society, which she's been for many, many years. And in those days, we would hold our board meetings in her home. So she wrapped all of these things up in brown paper and had us sit around the fireplace and open them like Christmas presents. And so now all of those are in the tool room, the Rumford tool room in the lower level of the museum.
And then back to Nancy and the community gardens. A group of volunteers met every Tuesday throughout the summer of 2020 during COVID to work on building the gardens. And Mayor Bob was a big promoter, and he would put it in the Post and put it on social media, and we'd get 15 or 20 college students, and he's like, what do we do with them? They don't know how to do anything. But we just put them all, kept them all busy. But Nancy would often go home and bring back lunch for everybody. And we did that all that summer, building those gardens. She went above and beyond with a bunch of us. As an avid educator, she created one of the 26 gardens. It's Garden Z, is the indigenous people's method of planting corn, beans, and squash to provide a complete protein. And she's been an advocate of that garden, kept it going for the last 5 years, and we really appreciate that. That is why today we are giving her the new plaque, thanking her for her contributions to the community gardens, and this plaque will be placed on the bench in the walkway of the gardens, and we'd like Nancy to come up and accept the plaque. So, since she didn't get a lot of recognition in 2019 when we gave her the plaque for the tool room, for single-handedly bringing all that, we decided to bring it out of the basement. So this is the rededication of the tool room plaque. And then here's the new plaque that will be on the bench for eternity.
Wow.
And there's a story about this middle initial thing. Everyone thought she's Nancy K. Moore. And she says, my middle name is Jean. So we'd like to hear, where did the K come from?
The K. In one of my lives, I ran a music business called Kids Music. And I did that while I was teaching at Gordon. And I sold music materials for teachers. All kinds of diversity pieces long before it was fashionable. And I eventually got phased out of business because people caught on. So it was kids' music. So my husband wrote the email, Nancy KM, for kids' music, Moore. And most people thought that it was Nancy K. Moore, and that would go to a woman in Texas who got really ticked off. That's the story of that.
Well, anyway, thank you so much, and we really appreciate you, and we're so glad to be able to celebrate with you. Would you like to say some few words?
Yes, I would. I'd like to start off by thanking a man who would love to have been here tonight, Don Doucette. Don Doucette and Dave, 10 Mile River watershed. Most of the 10 Mile River is in Massachusetts. So there's a lively group called the 10 Mile River Watershed Alliance. I think they've dropped the alliance. And then there's us, the 10 Mile River group down here. And Don was the mover and the shaker because he lived, the 10 Mile River was in his backyard. And that's where I met Don first. And then Don somehow discovered that the Palm Rock Lighthouse was going up for grabs. And he couldn't see any good reason why a private group of citizens couldn't grab that lighthouse and make it something absolutely shining. And there we were. Dave Kelleher jumped ship from here and joined Don Doucette as co-leaders on this Palm Rocks thing. And we all know how wonderful that is. And we all support that. So Don, I saw him a couple of days before he passed. He passed about a month ago. And I said to him, Don, we're going to have an observance of the King Philip War with both sides telling the story for the first time ever here in East Providence, mine. And he said, Dave, we're going to videotape it? And I said, probably, yes. He said, I want to see that. You know, so there he was, still 2 days later he's gone. So Don, you're raising Cain up there now, I know. There are people here that I need to acknowledge. Dave Kelleher was my mentor. He has been my mentor right from the beginning. My mentor over here was Ginny Berwick. She was my idol. I thought that woman was gold. She was right on. She was humble. She never thought she knew more than anybody else. And she would take you wherever you were at and bring you to another place and never make you feel that you didn't know something. She was such a special person. So Ginny, thank you. Bonnie Warren, there's another woman cut from a different set of cloth, but another woman who taught me a lot. There are just so many of you who I've worked with. Eddie, over there, Eddie Sarah. Jack, I'm so glad to see you here tonight. Dave, who knocked on the door at Hunts Mills until we listened about how we could incorporate the indigenous point of view here. Because he saw that it was lacking, and he was right. Anna Manise, Anna, over there, who brought us a larger picture of the community of East Providence. And lo and behold, we were able to pin down the slaves that were here, that worked this land. We didn't live in a vacuum that the South had the slaves. They were here. They were in that house across the water. So we've been able to pull these pieces together over this 40 years, and that's what this land is all about. It's not about 1643. Samuel Newman brought a bunch of white people here and took over the area. It's so much more than that. I remember the day that Don Doucette met me all excited over here. I was down here working, it was in 2006 or so. He said, I have just been talking to those gas line people over there. And he said, I've been asking them if they've been documenting what they've been digging up. And they said they had. They had been photographing it, and they said, and he said, I asked them how old they thought things were. And he said, 8,000 years. Right across the river, 8,000 years of indigenous people having Weechoos here and raising gardens and fishing the falls. So we're by no means, we're just latecomers. That's all we are. And so that story all needs to be told, and we're on the verge of being able to do all of that, which, man, that makes my heart feel really good. Really does. And you are the people who will carry it on and make it work in your own way and fill in the pictures. And there is no one person here who does things on their own. It's a collaboration. That's my favorite word. And sometimes I say it's like herding cats to get all of the people on the same page. But man, is it worth it when it works. It's really amazing. And all of you here who have worked with us in one way or another should be extremely proud to have helped up in whatever project. And so we are so grateful for all of you. Thank you. And oh, my husband over here. Where's your mother? She's a house. Jeff and I have to sing going.
She's got to have a show too. And everybody.